What does this expression mean and why is it even a number? In this video, we're going to find out. It's an introduction to rigorous proof-based mathematics and real analysis ideas, but made super accessible. Okay, so you're going to love this video. We just want to understand how to actually define this number rigorously, like a mathematician. So how we're going to do it is we're going to think about it as an iterative procedure. Okay, so what I mean by that is let's start off with the number x naught equals to 1. Okay, so x naught equals to 1, that's fine. Then we can define x1. Okay, so defining a sequence of numbers. Okay, it's going to be iterative. So x1 is going to be the cube root of 1 plus 1, which can also be written as, by the way, the cube root of 1 plus x naught. Okay, so far so good. Let's keep going with this. Let's now write x2 is equal to the cube root of 1 plus the cube root of 1 plus 1. Okay, so again you see that if you try to write it in terms of x1, it's just going to equal to the cube root of 1 plus x1. Okay, so we can keep going with this. Okay, we can keep going with this, and notice that if you go on to the nth term, okay, so the first one has 1 cube root, the second one has 2 cube roots, the nth term is going to have n cube roots, right? So it's just going to equal to the cube root of 1 plus the cube root of 1 plus dot 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 all the way up to the cube root of 1 plus 1. Okay, and again, if you write this out in terms of the previous step, it's just going to be the cube root of 1 plus xn minus 1, the nth minus 1th term in the sequence, and so you're going to have n cube roots here. Okay, so this is how we're defining it, and as we let n get larger and larger, we're getting closer and closer to this number. Okay, we're not going to quite hit the number, because this number has an infinite number of cube roots, so we can never have an infinite number at any stage. But as n goes to infinity, as n gets larger and larger, this is going to approach this number. So how we define this number rigorously, how do we do it as a mathematician, is we say it is the limit. Okay, so if we call this number x, okay, so I'm going to write it as x, we don't know that x exists even. Okay, we're just saying this is x. We don't know it exists, but if it exists, we're going to define it. We're going to try to define it as x is the limit as n goes to infinity of xn. Okay, so that's what we want our x to be. So what number do these xn's approach? Okay, if you're not familiar with limits, you can also think of it that way. So how do we rigorously prove that x exists? And here's going to be the idea. I'll explain it to you very briefly, and I will show you a beautiful counterexample as well while we do that. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you're really enjoying this. Makes a huge difference. And also please consider using the hype feature on YouTube to hype the video. It really helps a lot, especially if you're watching when the video has just been released. And let's just get into it. Okay, let's just try to start understanding this. The basic idea is the following. Okay, so what we're going to see is we're going to draw on the number line. Okay, we're going to have 0, we're going to have 1, and we don't quite know what our x is, but I actually do know what it is. Maybe you do too. But whatever it is, it's going to be some number. We'll actually explain why this is as well. It's going to be some number between 1 and 2, okay? But it's going to be something like, let's say somewhere here. I'm just explaining to you what the idea is. What happens is our x naught starts at 1, and so we have our x naught, and our x1 gets closer, our x2 gets closer, and we're going to actually show that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, okay? x naught is less than x1, is less than x2, and so on and so forth. That's going to be our goal, is to understand why this is. That's step 1. And step 2 is to show that they're all bounded. Okay, so we're actually going to show as step 2 that xn is less than 2. Okay, xn is less than 2 for all n. So what this means is that it is an increasing sequence of real numbers, and it is bounded. Okay, it doesn't go off to infinity. It doesn't get larger and larger, in which case maybe this could even be infinity, may not even exist. But it doesn't do that. That's what we have to prove. And it just keeps getting larger and larger, but it's blocked. Okay, it cannot get larger than a certain point. So therefore it is constrained and forced to actually end up being some fixed number. Now why that is, okay, that's actually a matter of real analysis, and I'll explain that at the end. So don't forget to watch till the end for that. But I'll first explain, intuitively you can sort of see if the numbers get larger and they're all less than 2, so they can't get arbitrarily large, they have to actually limit to something. And so we're going to have to prove these two properties. And just as a kind of a side note, it's not necessarily the case that, you can define some infinite kind of construction like this. For example, some people define something like 1 plus 1 plus 1 dot dot dot, and that doesn't really make sense. Okay, that if you try to make sense of that, you'd run into some weird contradiction. Okay, so that doesn't really make sense. That's going to equal to infinity, so we have to make sure that doesn't happen here. So let's now just get into that right now. So I'm going to do step 2 first. Okay, I'm going to prove that xn is less than 2 for all n. Okay, so that's actually going to be an induction proof. Okay, so we're going to prove this for all n, and this is a beautiful introduction to mathematical proofs. So first of all, we know that x naught is equal to 1 is less than 2. Okay, that's our induction, our base case. Okay, so if you're not familiar with induction proofs, don't worry. Okay, this is going to introduce you to that. We start off by saying x naught is equal to 1 is less than 2, and then what we're going to do is we're going to assume that we have shown xn less than 2. Okay, n could be 0, in which case we've got x naught is less than 2, but assume that xn is less than 2, and we will prove that xn plus 1 is less than 2. And the reason this is the process is because we can just keep applying this same principle. If I've explained to you why xn less than 2 implies xn plus 1 is less than 2, if I've explained why this is true, then basically knowing that x naught is less than 2, I can repeat that process to say x naught is less than 2, hence x1 is less than 2. x1 is less than 2, hence x2 is less than 2. x2 is less than 2, hence x3 is less than 2. You get the idea. So it repeats ad infinitum. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So first of all, we know x naught is less than 2. Now xn less than 2 implies xn plus 1 less than 2. Why is that? So the reason is that xn plus 1 is equal to the cube root of 1 plus xn. And now, because xn is less than 2, this is going to be less than the cube root of 1 plus 2, which is going to be equal to the cube root of 3. And the cube root of 3 is going to be less than, we may not know exactly what it is, but we know that the cube root, the next perfect cube after 3 is 8. 8 is 2 cubed, so the cube root of 8 is 2. So therefore, we've concluded that xn plus 1 is less than 2, knowing xn less than 2. Okay, so these numbers are never getting arbitrarily large. They're all going to be less than 2. That's an induction proof. You just repeat the same principle. You show x naught less than 2, then x1 less than 2, x2 less than 2, etc. This is how induction works. Okay, so that's the principle of mathematical induction. Now we need to show they actually keep increasing because, for example, they could still all be less than 2, but they may not actually have a well-defined limit. For example, if you had a sequence that alternated between 1, -1, 1, -1 or something, just oscillated like that, it will not have a well-defined limit even though all the terms are less than 2. So it's really important they're increasing, so they're going to condense and sort of converge as their mathematical term to some number. But let's now do that right now. So why does the sequence keep increasing? Okay, let's try to understand that. So again, we're going to do a inductive proof. Okay, and this is going to be very neat. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we know that x naught is equal to 1, and we know that x1 is equal to the cube root of 1 plus x naught, right? That's how you find the next term in the sequence, and that's just going to be the cube root of 1 plus 1, which is nothing other than the cube root of 2. Okay, so that's the cube root of 2, and that's going to be greater than 1, okay, because I can just rigorously explain that by saying cube root of 2 is greater than the cube root of 1, and that's of course equal to 1, so that's going to be greater than 1. So we've got that far. We know that x naught is less than x1. And now we're going to do again a inductive proof. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that assume we have proved that xn is less than xn plus 1. So assume that, or maybe let's say xn minus 1 is less than xn. Okay, assume that we have proven that. Then we're going to show that xn is less than xn plus 1. So you see that the principle keeps applying. We know x naught less than x1. That's the base case. That's super important. We have to know that. But once we've known that, we can then use this principle to say that knowing x naught less than x1, that means that x1 less than x2. Knowing x1 less than x2, that means that x2 less than x3. And ad infinitum, we know that xn is going to be less than xn plus 1 for all n. So it's an increasing sequence like that. But we have to now establish this principle. Why is this true? So the idea is very neat. It's very beautiful. That basically, how do we get xn from xn minus 1? Well, we get xn from xn minus 1 by the same process. So xn is going to equal to the cube root of 1 plus xn minus 1. And we know that 1 plus xn minus 1 is less than 1 plus xn, right? Because we are assuming that this is true. Okay, we started off with the base case. In general, we're assuming this is true. And so that implies that, okay, this is going to be less than the cube root of 1 plus xn, right? And now we know the cube root of 1 plus xn is actually just xn plus 1, right? Xn plus 1 is obtained from the nth term by just taking the cube root of 1 plus that. So we get xn plus 1, and you just see, lo and behold, we get xn less than xn plus 1. And so we've deduced that this implies this, and by the principle of mathematical induction, we deduce it's an increasing sequence. But why does that imply that increasing and bounded, why does it imply there is a limit? So check out this video, it's going to pop up on the screen. It basically explains why what is called a bounded monotone sequence always has a limit. It's a rigorous real analysis proof. It's super beautiful. It's called the completeness of the real numbers. So you want to check out that video just to complete this proof rigorously. And another fun video is, we know this is a number now, but what is that number? How do we calculate it? It's really magical. So check out this video. It's going to pop up on the screen. Actually calculates the infinite nested cube root.